Anyway, thank you so very much for coming out this morning and joining us for this positive announcement for the Newfoundland Labrador justice system. As many of you would recall, during the 2013 budget, we received considerable feedback regarding some of the announced proposed changes to the Justice Department budget. In response to the feedback, the former Attorney General and I met with the Premier, and a decision was taken to revisit a number of the decisions. To assist us, a committee of stakeholders was formed with the mandate to have a closer look at the budget proposals and to provide the Attorney General and I with some clear, direct feedback. As a result of the committee's work, we made some immediate changes, we listened to what was said, and made some immediate changes to ensure that our justice system remained strong and public confidence remained intact. Also at that time, we commissioned external reviews of the Sheriff's Office and legal aid with an aim of ensuring that both systems are using resources effectively and efficiently and to identify any areas where change could or ought to be made to improve things. Lee DeRoche, a retired RCMP inspector, completed the work on the Sheriff's Office. Specifically, he was asked to assess operations to determine best practices, to make recommendations on organizational structure and risk management, as well as to identify the most cost-efficient alignment of resources and functions to effectively meet the requirements of that office. John Royal prepared the legal aid report and thoroughly examined the delivery of legal aid services in the province with a view to ensuring that residents have appropriate access to justice. Areas reviewed included workload of staff, geographical, cultural, and economic challenges to the delivery of service in the province, the use of private counsel, and an examination of the current administrative model. At this time, I'd like to thank both men for their work in preparing what I believe are two very important comprehensive reports. The reviews are being released to the public today and are now available online at the Department of Justice's website. Between both reports, there are a total of 29 recommendations, 16 for the Sheriff's Office and 13 for legal aid, of which I'm pleased to announce all have been accepted by government. Implementing these recommendations will require additional resources, and I'm pleased to announce today that we are investing an extra $6.4 million in the Sheriff's Office over the next 3 years, while at the same time the legal aid system will receive an additional $7.1 million over that same 3-year period. The recommendations for the Sheriff's Office covers areas such as the organizational structure, human resources, security equipment and protocols, and a review of the weekend and statutory holiday court, commonly known as the Wash Court. This year, we will expand point of entry screening by installing new stations at the Supreme Court Family Division in St. John's and the Corner Brook Courthouse, which holds the Provincial and Supreme Court. This infrastructure will also be installed at the Supreme Court Trial Division in St. John's next year. We are adding new sheriff's officer positions to ensure a minimum staffing model of 3 officers in each work location. And we will be enhancing the leadership and supervision of employees by hiring additional supervisors to ensure that there is 1 per work location throughout the province. This will provide guidance, direction, and accountability for our staff. We are creating a new regional manager for court security for the Central Region, and this will cover Gander, Grand Falls, Clarenville, Harbour Grace, and Grand Bank. A new manager of training and organizational development will be hired to assist with employee professional learning and training, as well as with other ongoing organizational development initiatives. And we are creating a new information management position to assist with the management of IT and information databases. All in all, this will result in significant enhancements to support the province's sheriff's officers and enhance court security. The legal aid report provides suggestions related to issues around workload, delivery of service, and the use of private counsel. In addition, several of the recommendations will require legislative changes to the Legal Aid Act. We are implementing recommendations 2, 3, and 4 of the legal aid review within the current 2014-15 budget. Specifically, we will provide sustaining funding to the Family Court Duty Counsel project in St. John's, and we will be looking at the feasibility and demand to extend the project across the province. And that will be recommendation 2. And under recommendation 3 and 4, we are also committing to provide sustaining funding and creating 17 permanent positions for a number of solicitor, administrative, and managerial positions that legal aid has been funding through alternate sources, and which would not otherwise be funded on an ongoing basis, I might add. And we will add permanent funding for a deputy director position. 4 legal assistant positions as well will be created this year. And in 2015-2016, funding will be provided for 3 additional solicitor positions. We've already begun working on making the necessary changes in both organizations, and I firmly believe that our work will have a significant positive impact on the staff of the Sheriff's Office and the Legal Aid Commission, as well as on the people in the province who rely on the service provided. And I want to be clear that making the investments we are announcing today is a result of taking time to review both of these organizations across the entire province of Newfoundland and Labrador. The authors reviewed the entire legal aid and sheriff's office system with a view to making systemic changes, and it's these types of changes that we are very pleased to be announcing and supporting. We understand that we face unique issues and challenges in providing legal expertise to those who cannot afford private representation across Newfoundland and Labrador. The recommendations from the review provide valuable insight into the geographical, cultural, and demographic challenges that this province faces. The reality is that we have a sparse population spread over a very vast territory, and we must use every resource available as wisely and as prudently as possible to make sure that everyone benefits. The provincial government continues to invest significantly in the justice system in Newfoundland and Labrador. Overall, gross expenditures for our department have increased by more than 65% over the past 8 years. We continue to focus on providing safe, efficient, and effective policing, corrections, court facilities, and legal services throughout our province. Myself, Minister Collins, and the entire Department of Justice work with one goal in mind, and that is to ensure that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians can access the justice system in a safe and fair manner, and we will continue to provide all residents with justice services in the most efficient and effective means possible. Well, thank you for being here, and I now invite my colleague to have a few words.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning, everybody. And I do thank you all for coming up this morning. I just want to say a few words on the legal aid system in general, as well as address some of the issues that are raised in Mr. Royal's review. Having fair access to justice is a fundamental right in a democratic society, and legal aid plays an important role as it helps people with serious legal problems who are in financial need and cannot afford private counsel. The legal aid system is funded by the federal and provincial governments and by the Law Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador. As Minister King mentioned, this review contains 13 recommendations related to the operations and management of the Legal Aid Commission, all of which have been accepted by the provincial government. And we will use these recommendations to guide future work and to prioritise the needs of the Legal Aid Commission. We are well aware that Newfoundland and Labrador has unique challenges in the delivery of legal aid services. And these investments, combined with changes to legislation and the structure of the organisation, will help the Commission operate as effectively and efficiently as possible in meeting the needs of residents. The additional resources we are providing will be used by the Commission to address issues around workload, delivery of service, and the use of private counsel. And in addition, we'll be making legislative changes to the Legal Aid Act. While I won't go into every recommendation, as I believe you all received a technical briefing this morning, I would like to talk about choice of counsel and a request that we consider curtailing its use. And Mr. Royal stresses that the staff at the Legal Aid Commission have vast amounts of experience and they deliver a high quality of service in representing clients. Unfortunately, as the review notes, there are misconceptions about the quality of service rendered with many in the public, thinking that a legal aid lawyer is not as capable as someone in private practice. That is simply not the case. And as the report suggests, we will be closely examining the choice of counsel provision in this report. I also want to discuss the role that the federal government has to play in the legal aid system. The percentage of the contribution that the province puts in has grown significantly over the past number of years. Initially, the federal government sponsored quite a high percentage of legal aid services. That has changed. The province now funds up to 80% of legal aid, and the federal government's contribution is down to somewhere in the vicinity of 20%. Now, Mr. King and I have attended a number of federal, provincial, and territorial meetings over the last several years, as have our predecessors in the Department of Justice, and the issue is always on the table, and we will continue to press the federal government to contribute more to the system. We have a strong team of legal aid professionals in Newfoundland and Labrador who are dedicated to providing services to those who otherwise would not be able to seek legal representation. And their work in assisting residents is crucial to having a strong and responsive justice system. The investment announced today, along with the work being done in relation to the recommendations, will have a significant impact on the Legal Aid Commission and the great work that is done throughout the province.